Today I want to talk about Pinktober. It's October, and it's the month for breast cancer awareness. And that has meant for years, probably 20 or 25 years, that different companies have been exploiting the pink ribbon to sell their products and to pretend that they are giving something back or being charitable to research for this disease, which some companies have. I think the very first companies that decided to espouse the pink ribbon were pretty generous, probably. But it's been a really easy way for other companies to get on board and not do anything except sell more product. And so most more progressive women who are educated about these things and active about these things are pretty upset about the color pink in October. Lately, there's been a movement to reclaim October or reclaim the pink ribbon. And I love this movement. I submitted an essay for a publication that's out on Amazon from last October, just telling our stories and making October into a time to be known by other breast cancer survivors for our stories and our unique experiences and the experiences that we share, and making this into a time of connection rather than a time of isolation. This is my third October as a survivor. I found out in September 2 years ago that I had invasive cancer, but in September 3 years ago I knew that I had DCIS. And I've been recovering from that news for 4 Octobers, but I've had a different response ever since becoming a survivor. So 3 years ago, when I knew I was a breast cancer victim, I've had a different response every year, a very different response. And I think that my response has been mostly informed each year, and the changes that I've made each year have been informed by the community that I surround myself with. And so, like I always say, it really makes a huge difference who you surround yourself with after cancer. If you surround yourself with people who feel victimized, you will feel victimized. If you surround yourself with people who are empowered and are experiencing life even more joyfully and powerfully than they did before cancer, then you'll feel more joy and more power in your life. And we don't always have an easy way of finding those people, but they are available. Especially now, more than ever, I think, on Facebook groups and on Instagram. And so I urge you to go and find them if you haven't already. But I wanted to talk about my evolution, my personal evolution of changing my mind about the pink ribbon over these last 3 Octobers. So for new survivors, you probably relate to my response 2 years ago, 2 Octobers ago, which was every time I saw anything pink, I wanted to run the other way. I felt frail, vulnerable. I felt like a victim. I felt like I was weak. And I was very ashamed of the fact that I had just discovered cancer in my body. I thought it was my fault. I think that's really common as a first response. Generally, when bad things happen to us, especially when we're children, we always think it's our fault. And even when bad things happen to other people around us as children, we think it's our fault. And so it's no mystery that we grow up even into adulthood and sometimes have those very foolish, automatic kind of behaviors and beliefs that we have to talk ourselves out of. I was definitely lost in a lot of shame. And that pink ribbon and that pink color just reminded me of that shame and reminded me that I'm sticking out like a sore thumb for everyone that knows that I have breast cancer, and that they must know how ashamed I am too. Now, looking back at that, I think it's pretty extreme and almost ridiculous that I thought that. But I do think it's really common. And so I just want to say, if you're a new survivor and you feel a lot of shame, you feel alone and isolated in your shame, that is not unusual. But definitely get some help to get out of that, either from a therapist or from a breast cancer support group, or just even a general cancer support group. You can get a lot of support around that just in a group of anyone that's had cancer before. So I was just completely appalled by the pink ribbon. I think partly that was because of my own shame, like I said, my own vulnerability. But it was also that I knew that those corporations were objectifying women and using them for gain, using this disease, this very unfortunate disease, to gain something and to gain power and money monetarily, just to gain for themselves very selfishly and very exploitatively. And that made me really angry. And rightfully so. I think we should all be angry when that happens. We should all be looking in the stores and identifying pink ribbons and identifying the ones that are not coming with a promise to give back to the breast cancer community in some way. If you see a pink ribbon, you should also look for a claim that they are doing something about that. They're doing something about their espousal of this symbol of our solidarity. Because it's ours, it's not theirs. My second year as a breast cancer survivor, I had been to a few walks. I had been to many community events and charitable fundraisers. And I started to realize that there is something beyond this infuriating exploitation. The pink ribbon is a symbol of unity among survivors. It is a really quick, recognizable symbol that we can look at and see, oh, she's like me. She's part of my tribe. She's one of my pink sisters. And I realize there's a lot more to it in the big picture than just this exploitation for profit or this commercial use of the pink ribbon. I started to look around and see that other survivors were taking this on as kind of a banner. They took it on with pride. They used it as a way to find each other and to smile at each other and hug each other and to become safe with each other. And so there was this dark side, light side to this pink dilemma. And I was kind of sorting it all out and stuck in the middle, really, last year. And I remember last year when I saw a poster on my office door. I just go into my work one day a week to do nutrition in a retirement setting. And I have an office there, and on my office door there was a poster that said, "Wear pink for October," every Wednesday. And Wednesday happens to be the day that I come into the office. So I thought, oh goodness, I'm going to have to see everybody wearing pink every day in October. Great. I was still dreading it. I was still not espousing it myself. I was not happy about it. I didn't want to be looked on by my coworkers and pitied because maybe the rumor had gotten out that I had had breast cancer. But I didn't dread October because October became, last year, the time that I had to connect with other survivors, other flatties in particular, because I take a lot of pride in my flatness. And I met up with so many flatties last October. I went to so many breast cancer events all up and down the West Coast. And I mean, like a dozen. And I had so much fun with them. And so I made incredible memories. And so October was a time to savor for me. It became a time that I looked forward to instead of dreading it. This year, not only did I look forward to October, but I also have shifted my mindset a little bit. Having gone to a couple more walks at this point, even before October hit, having stepped into that pink zone again, I felt even more safe and even more at home. And I'm even more comfortable with the concept of reclaiming October because I read about it all last year in October. And so I started to feel differently. I started to shift into the pink zone. And I was shocked when a couple of days ago I was at the Komen Walk, and as we're handed out these lovely little mufflers every year as kind of a scarf to wave in the air as a banner, everyone's given one of these at a Komen Walk, and then you're told to turn it inside out and find out what the color other than pink is for you and what that symbolizes. So I got blue, and blue stands for community, as you can see there. Well, they know that pink is getting a bad rap at Komen, but for the first time this year, I wasn't eager to turn my scarf inside out. I actually really found myself wanting to hold up the pink banner for the first time because I realized the pink means solidarity. That's what it was intended for. It was intended for us to be able to recognize each other out in the world and say, hey, I've been through it too. And just how powerful that is. It is huge when you're just starting out as a survivor, when you're so alone and you don't know who else around you might have been through it. It means so much. And to me, that is worth all of the pink, all the weakness and the vulnerability, all of the shame, everything I've been through that pink symbolized that was negative. Now I can embrace it. And the other thing I did at the Komen Walk in Seattle is I picked up voluntarily a temporary tattoo. And I put it on my skin, and I don't know how long this thing's going to hold up on my skin. It might be there for 2 weeks for all I know. And that was a deliberate choice on my part to identify myself this October as a breast cancer survivor, not just at the walks, not just with my friends and my peers, people I already know, where I'm safe and I'm protected, but also out in the world at work, in the stores that I'm going to. I'm going to go get pet food today at the pet store, and they're going to see it when I pay and I pull out my wallet. And I can choose to feel shame around that or embarrassment, or I can choose to feel boldness and pride and to be there for others that are really lonely right now who are going through breast cancer and haven't come out of the shadows yet. I know there are probably lots of people at my work, besides even my clients there who I know who have had breast cancer, who will be comforted by my willingness to wear pink this October. And I'm so proud of myself that I have risen above some of those really awful feelings and experiences and gotten beyond them. Even though they are still legitimate concerns, I'm still concerned about the exploitation of the pink ribbon. But I want to take it back for us. I want it to be ours again, the way it started out to be. The way it is for all the other colors of ribbons that demonstrate all of the other cancers. Those are safe colors. Those are safe symbols. They haven't been exploited in our stores yet. And so I want to look at it in that pure sense and take it back for myself and for my community. And that's really surprising to me. I am shocked that I got to this place in only 3 short years, or really just 2 short years, just 3 Octobers. And so I just want to encourage you that if you're feeling a shift or a change in either direction towards the pink, that you are absolutely warranted in either direction. If you're learning about some of the ugly side of the pink and you want to just drop it, let it go for a couple of years, I totally get that. If you're learning some of the beautiful side of the pink and the solidarity, and you're feeling strong and you want to espouse it, I really support that too. So you're safe with me in either camp, but let's keep talking about it. Let's keep talking about and identifying the abuses of the pink ribbon and keeping it for ourselves in ways that can be safe, in ways that can draw us together and identify us to each other, which is the most important thing. I know we're all going to be triggered at some point this Pinktober, but I hope that you have more joy and less triggers this year in Pinktober. We'll see you next time.